Scary cyber term says they are. I consider myself a hacker.
Hacking isn't necessarily a bad term.
Being a hacker does not say what side you're on. Being a hacker means you know how things actually work and can manipulate the way things actually work for good or for harm.
When you think of hackers, forget the criminal aspect of it. Yes, that exists, and yes, it's out there, but people in this community who call themselves hackers are incredibly talented people who are independent thinkers who come up with incredibly creative and innovative ways of solving problems that other people just don't think of solving in a certain way. You know, we are an incredibly creative bunch, we're an incredibly intuitive bunch. We latch onto technology and find new ways of using it, and have been doing this, you know, for 50 years.
A hacker is someone who wants to know how things work, take them apart, look at the components, see if there's a way to make them better, and put it back together and share that information openly without motivation of profit or fame or anything like that.
To me, hacking is just trying to do things in different ways, making stuff do things it wasn't meant to do.
Well, I mean, also if you look back before there was technology, you know, if there was basic chemistry or anything like that, like alchemists, you know, at one point, that was pretty much considered a hacker. You know, somebody that basically they're trying to figure out a way to do something that they're like, there's no possible way this should work, let's see if we can do it, and then let's spend 300 years trying it, you know, that's pretty much what...
The hackers saved the guys on Apollo 13 when, you know, they had to hack together all that stuff to try to figure out how to save those guys and get them back. I mean, they were engineers, but they changed their job hats to hacker.
Inventors or hackers?
Michelangelo, I mean, that guy, he hacked everything.
Leonardo da Vinci was a hacker. Alexander Graham Bell.
Wright brothers were hackers. Somebody took a hunk of rock and made a wheel out of it.
They hacked at that rock until it became a wheel.
Literally and figuratively.
Thomas Edison, really good example of, you know, 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. That's exactly why hacking is frustrating, and it's exactly what kind of a person it is that does the job. Without hackers, you've got no light bulbs.
For any individual item, for any individual, you know, chemical or building or material, anything that is a raw material that can be forged into a product, there is the expected uses of it, and then there's other. Most people look at the expected uses. They see a fork and they go, aha, this is an object that has one purpose, to eat food. And a hacker looks at the fork and says, aha, this is metal, it will conduct electricity. Aha, this has sharp points, it can make holes in clay for, you know, making a sculpture.
This world is not one where hard drives naturally get smaller and printers naturally get better and cars naturally get, I mean, that's some guy, some gal banging their head for 2 years to figure out, how do I take what we have right now and do it a little better?
There would be no technology without hackers.
Do you have a bank account? Do you conduct transactions online? Do you have personal information, maybe health information you'd like to see secure and people not have access to?
You know, every time you see your antivirus window pop up or you see that little key icon in the bottom of your browser, that's because a hacker made that happen for you. Some hacker somewhere wrote software that's keeping viruses off your computer, that's letting you buy things from Amazon, letting you pay your bills, that's letting you use the internet without having it completely overrun by the very, very small percentage of people that use hacker tools to do bad things.
We are very academic, even those of us who are not scholarly, in the sense that we believe strongly in publicly sharing what we find. We are very teacher-oriented in that we want people to actually dive in, get their hands on something, and become a part, not just be on the sideline. And we're almost, you know, jazz musicians in the sense that we play off one another's energy and creativity, and with enough people coming together, you can create something you had no idea. You started down one path and you wound up all the way over here, but all of a sudden you're just happy about it. You're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we made this too.
Basically, this is Gray Frequency's skirt. and she had asked me to add some blinky lights to it, and I had wired it all up, and using a microcontroller that Loster had given me, just used that to drive all the blinking. I had asked him just to help me with some code to make everything blink and a little more random, and he turns around and completely rebuilds the thing. And
one person came to another person for a tiny bit of help, and suddenly more people joined in, and the project became better and bigger than they thought. It was random, it was not planned, and it ends up being a wonderful experience. Just a community coming together.
Would you say that the community is very diverse?
Yeah. I see Linux, Mac, PC.
I think she was referring to people there.
The diversity in the hacking community is really, really interesting. It's kind of a smaller picture of the same type of diversity you get from the internet.
The community is a lot of people. It's not just the hackers, it's not just law enforcement, it's not just government, it's the private sector, it's individual users, ISPs, software manufacturers, companies that have websites, people that hang out on MySpace, people like to read email. Everybody's in this community.
It's a very small community. I'm amazed at how many people I knew online and I've never met them in person. This is my first time meeting them here at DEF CON in Blackpool.
This is like, what, 8,000 people here, maybe 7,000, something like that. That's like not a big community, you know? But it's cool because you end up getting to know almost everybody you see. Like, I can't walk the halls and go, hey man, what's going on, or this or that, even though there's a lot of people here, quote. You know, you end up meshing with people you know, this or that you've seen at another, conference, and you just vibe, you know?
Many people have asked for the longest time how we can be so open and accepting. I think you can't divorce the fact that you're meeting people often without seeing them face to face for the first time. Right. You're meeting people without their skin color or their gender or their size or attractiveness being in the equation.
Because those barriers are gone, you end up making relationships with people you normally wouldn't otherwise, and end up fostering those relationships over time.
What made it cool originally was the obscurity of it.
It used to be it was a very, very small, close-knit community, and it was people who were only interested in learning and discovering all sorts of things about phone systems, computer systems, all that. At this point now, it's become very juvenile to an extent.
What's happened with the hacking community is the same kind of thing that happened with Lollapalooza. As it grew, it got more publicized, it got more mainstream, and as it goes into the mainstream, it loses that essence of what made it unique, what made it cool.
People complain that it's not like it used to be. It's not all in the underground. It's not all secret. And well, the people in the underground are still in the underground. They're there. If you want to work that hard and you really want to earn that kind of credential, then you want to be called that, then you can still do that. But what's going on in public, what's going on here and now, is something that wasn't even possible or realistic in the day, in the old days.
It's changed a lot over the years. This community got going probably back in the 70s, even long before the internet was a popular term, and grew through the 80s as more people became connected through dial-up BBSs, and then as the internet came of age in the 90s, it really began to explode. For the longest time, it was academic, people who understood computer science and liked to learn more about the way computers work.
And over time, though, as more and more information became available and the net grew and networking, internet access became basically free, computers became free, operating systems became free, long-distance telco charges became basically free. A lot of the original motivations went away. And as that happened, that changed the group dynamic.
The culture was good, it was strong, it was good, and it's just different now.
So now there's multi-tiers. There's a group of people who've been doing it for many, many years, and they're still interested in learning and discovering and just testing out the quality of systems. And then there's a lot of real idiots who just they come to something like this because they think they're going to be taught how to break into their bank, which they're not going to, especially if they come up to somebody and just go, teach me how to hack, because that's the last thing you want to do.
think now, you know, a hacker is somebody that is talented with technology and passionate about it. Not just talented because they went to school and learned something, but talented because they, you know, when they go to bed at night, you know, they think about technology, or when they wake up in the morning, they think about technology, or, you know, technology makes them happy.
And everything I do, eat, breathe. My wife swears I talk in numbers when I'm sleeping.
Do I feel that's a lifestyle? Absolutely.
Sure, it's a lifestyle. We live that, we breathe it. We'll die going that way. We'll be 80 trying to tell these youngins, you don't even know what a 2600 hertz is.
I don't actually know if it's something that becomes a lifestyle for anyone. I think you either have that mentality in you, the idea of I want to see what's happening behind the curtain, and if you're not born with it, I can't imagine where you'd get it.
It starts off with curiosity, wanting to know, you know, can I do this? Could I do this differently? Could I do this better, more efficiently?
But I also like spreading knowledge. I like looking at somebody's face and seeing the lights go on in their eyes, you know, and they go, "Ooh, that's how it works." It's like, yeah, it's not black art, you know, it's not magic. It's just turn this knob and hit that button. They go, "Oh, cool." And now they have a skill. It's sort of like teaching someone to fish instead of, you know, giving them a cheeseburger. And I like teaching people how to fish. That's really cool.
This is like, DEF CON is a chance to just chill the hell out, drink your beer, get really buzzed, you know, whatever you do, go to parties, hang out with these people, give hugs, love each other, you know what I mean, and appreciate what we're all doing for the community and the industry in itself. And I think that's really what it's about.
Tell you how I describe it to my mom and my dad. I backed them both up and brought them to DEF CON. It's true, I spooned with his mom and DEF CON. He did spoon with my mother.
And they come here and they feel like they're getting the real deal, they're meeting other people like themselves again, and it's sort of a safe haven.
If you look around at the people that you see at this con, the way they think, the way their minds work is absolutely brilliant. I mean, in prodigies, the majority of them.
I started going to DEF CON in 2002 and really just fell in love with a group of people that I got to interact there. It's, I think, the most challenging group of individuals that I get to hang out with at any point in the year, and there's just something about being around a group of people who question absolutely everything that's always really inspiring to me.
Somebody told me the first year I was here that it was going downhill and the only reason to come anymore was to see all the people they knew, and I thought, well, that sounds uphill to me.
We ended up getting about 110 people. We stayed up all night. It was, you know, we had only one room, about twice the size of this room, and that was it. And it just grew and grew and grew from there.
He's the HackerCon that was able to sustain this many people in Las Vegas and keep growing and sustain itself. And that's a talent. The fact that he branched into these other things to help fund it, that's his talent.
Every year you're constantly trying to fix the stuff that happened the previous year. I can have more speakers, I can have contests. You kind of get addicted.
I remember one of my first ons, I sit down at a random table, and there's some guy there. I go, "Oh, hi, I'm Dan." He goes, "Oh, hi, Dan, so what do you do?" And I, you know, just tell him my actual, you know, what my talk's about. And the guy gets it, and he totally understands. And I'm like, where else can I go where what I'm doing is totally understood the first time, and the person's as excited as I am? And that's just cool.
I always, after conventions, I always get so activated and so full of ideas. Like, oh yeah, I can go out and I can do this new thing that I learned.
I come home on a high that lasts me for, and I don't drink. But I am